Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to my unboxing and review of the Rosewill RGB80 Tenkeyless backlit mechanical gaming keyboard with Cherry MX Brown switches. Wow, that is a mouthful, that's what she said, but I'm very excited for this unboxing because this is my first Rosewill product, and I got this keyboard off of a very good Black Friday deal from Newegg no less, and I do know that there has been a lot of drama regarding Newegg and their customer service, RMAs, and returns. Anecdotally though, I've never really had a problem with Newegg. They're not my preferred retailer due to their restocking fees, but my suggestion is to not let really good deals dissuade you from using Newegg regardless of the drama. But let's go and look around the box at some of the advertised features of this keyboard. So you have 16.8 million advertised colors. That's theoretical. The actual number of colors may be quite different. 6 levels of brightness, anti-ghosting, 100% mechanical key switches, and 5 gamer profiles that you can cycle between on the fly. So looking around the back of the box, it doesn't appear as though there are any drivers or software to download, which is always a positive in my book personally, because I like my peripherals, at least when it comes to mice and keyboards, to be rather simple and streamlined. You have advertised transparent QWASD and arrow keys, a rubberized textured finish to the body of the keyboard, cyclable gamer profiles that you use with the FN key and the last 5 F keys, a gaming mode toggle. Gaming mode probably just disables the Windows key in game, and you can cycle between 6 key rollover or N key rollover. So that's pretty much all we're going to be able to find out from the box. So I'm going to go ahead and open the package and see what else we get with the keyboard. I hope they give us some chalked keys because I always like chalked keys with my stuff. So Allied apparently keyboard software is included, as well as a quick start guide. So there is some software to install. I think it just helps you manage the coloring profiles. You can adjust the coloring profiles just by using the function in the arrow keys. For brightness, at least, I suppose cycling the profile gives you a different lighting profile. The keycaps, as mentioned previously, not the keycaps, the key switches, as mentioned previously, are Cherry MX Brown, and I'm going to go into a mini key switch comparison later on when I bring out my other mechanical keyboards to compare. But the body of the keyboard, as advertised, does have a very nice feeling rubberized finish. The keycaps are very plasticky, but not the poorest grade of plasticky keycaps I've ever felt. The travel distance just from bottoming out the keys are exactly where I want them and what I would expect out of a Cherry MX keyed switch keyboard. You get the braided USB cable with gold-plated connectors on both sides, and I like the detachable feature of the cable. It helps make storage and transport really easy. You do have the risers that you can click into place if you want a little bit of height to give your fingers the desired angle of approach, or if you just want to lay your keyboard flat, you can depress the riser switches. And you have channels in the back to route the cable, which is, I think that's one of the more basic features you can include on any gaming branded keyboard. The cable length is okay, so you definitely won't be using this keyboard for a home theater PC because of its short length, but for most standard desktops, it should be okay with this cable length. But it goes in through here. I'm probably going to route it over to the right because my PC is located on the right of my monitor. So yeah, I'm struggling. It's not the keyboard's fault, it's my fault. When I struggle with the new product, it's generally my fault as opposed to the product's fault. So I'm going to plug it in first and then route the cable. There we go. Routed nicely. The keyboard feet are not anti-slip, unfortunately. There is a lot of room for slip. So I think they could have been a lot more aggressive with the anti-slipping of the feet. So that's pretty much it for the body of the keyboard. Let me test its flex. there is minimal flex. There is some flex, but minimal flex. Alright, let's see. What is this area here? Well, there are witness indicators for profiles and your caps lock and scroll lock. And I'm not sure what this area is. These ridges are for. It might be just cosmetic. In the package, you also get transparent keycaps that you can put for the number and WASD keys, as well as the E key, I think. Then the keycap puller to install your letters. So there's the S. The height of the transparent keycaps is the same as the standard keycap, I think, which some will like, some will not. Some like their WASD keys to be of a higher elevation than the other keys. I do like my keycaps to be all standard size because for me, I like a gaming typing hybrid type of keyboard. I don't like those exclusively gaming marketed keyboards like the Cherry MX Black or the Cherry MX Red. But we'll talk about Cherry MX switches later. I think this is pretty much it for surface features, and I'm going to talk about the differences in Cherry MX switches and the reason why I went with a Tenkeyless keyboard once I get this keyboard plugged in. So let's get started. Alright, so I plugged in the keyboard, downloaded the software, and got the hang of using it. The reason that I like Tenkeyless keyboards is because I like to keep my mousing hand closer to my typing hand when I'm gaming, and I never use the 10 key area anyway, so that's why my keyboard preference is for that of a 10 keyless variant. To adjust the lighting of the keyboard, you hit the function key and either the up or down arrow, and there are different lighting modes. The first is backlighting off entirely. Next is the dimmer setting of backlighting. So let me turn off this light. So dim is still pretty bright and you can see the bleed through. Next is the bright setting. After that is a breathing setting, which will let the backlighting dim and get brighter. After this, you have a backlight setting that only illuminates the WASD, keyboard, enter, arrow keys, and this row of function keys. And finally, you have a setting that, in addition to the previous setting, illuminates the top row of numbers, the tab, caps lock, shift, Ctrl, and alt keys. And this light indicates that gaming mode is turned on. Gaming mode disables the Windows key in game. To turn that off, you hit the function and the pause break key up here. I don't think I've ever used this key in regular day-to-day computing, nor have I used scroll lock. But yeah, that's how you go between gaming mode and regular computing mode. So I'm going to go back into gaming mode, and you can go from N key rollover to 6 key rollover by hitting the function key and either of these two keys. So let's do a keycap comparison. Sorry, did I say keycap? I meant key switch. I will probably make that mistake several more times in this video. So let me bring out my other mechanical keyboards. So these two keyboards are CM Storm Quickfires, and they are also 10 keyless. This one is Cherry MX Blue, and this one is Cherry MX Brown. So as I pull the keycaps, it is pretty obvious that the Cherry MX Blue switch is going to be blue, and the Cherry MX Black switch is going to be black. That shouldn't surprise anyone. So Cherry MX Blue and Cherry MX Brown are more similar to each other than they are to Cherry MX Black. Cherry MX Black and Cherry MX Red go hand in hand, and I don't have a Cherry MX Black, I don't have a Cherry MX Red keyboard to sample right now, but Cherry MX Red is basically a lighter version of Cherry MX Black. with Cherry MX Black, you just have a key. Before I explain mechanical keyboard differences, I should explain the advantage of a mechanical keyboard over a membrane keyboard. And I recently reviewed the UTech Smart Saturn gaming keyboard, but with a regular membrane, aka non-mechanical keyboard, you have a keycap that presses down to a rubber nubby key switch. Actually, no, it's not even a key switch because it's just a rubber nubby thing. So the disadvantage of a non-mechanical keyboard is that you get mushiness when you bottom out the key, and key presses aren't as precise, nor are they as consistent as that of a mechanical keyboard. So a Cherry MX Black and a Cherry MX Red switch will just press down linearly. You're not going to feel any bumps, you're not going to feel any kind of clicking. Cherry MX Black and Cherry MX Red are the key switches that are advertised as being the best for gaming because of the linearity and the lack of tactile bumps or clicks to interfere with key presses. But one person's perceived advantage could be another's perceived disadvantage, in that not having the immediate feedback gives you a little less speed in moving from key to key. With Cherry MX Blue and Cherry MX Brown, you have immediate feedback over when a key is activated with either the audible click or the bump. So I'm going to go and do a little bit of typing with the Cherry MX Blue and give you guys a sense of how it sounds. This is typing without bottoming out. Okay, so this is typing a lot more aggressively with bottoming out. So Cherry MX Blue key switches, I believe, are the most common type of mechanical gaming key switches because the original Razer Black Widow had Cherry MX Blue switches, and it took a while before other gaming branded mechanical key switches came to market. A lot of typing mechanical keyboards did have different colored Cherry MX switches before the gaming branded ones did. But again, I like Cherry MX Blue for typing. I'm going to use this keyboard at my workstation in my office because of how I can just fly across the keyboard, and a really easy way to annoy your coworkers without doing anything active aggressive is to get a mechanical gaming keyboard. And I'm going to do some typing with the Cherry MX Brown keyboard, and this is very similar to the Cherry MX Blue, a lot more similar to the Cherry MX Blue than it is to any other type of key switch. You do get a tactile bump, but you do not get a click, so you get immediate feedback over when the key has been pressed, but the sound of the key activating isn't going to be as prevalent. So this is typing without bottoming out. This is typing aggressively with bottoming out. Let me move the cable away. Typing aggressively with bottoming out. So yeah, I can be pretty fast on the Cherry MX Brown with the immediate feedback, but without the audible click. And for gaming, I can do a lot of repeated double taps and still be accurate and fast, because Cherry MX Blue does have a little bit of a dead zone in between when you first get the click and when you get the bump. So in the little dead zone, so that's moving the key with nothing happening, and it's really easy to come into that dead zone when doing double taps and repeated tapping, so that'll slow you down when gaming. So I definitely like Cherry MX Brown for gaming a lot better than Cherry MX Blue. And this is Cherry MX Black, so I'm going to type lightly without bottoming out. So two things about Cherry MX Black. The key presses are very, very heavy. And, you know, being aggressive is just going to be inaccurate for a lot of people because you don't get the feedback for when the key is pressed. So if you are trying to type fast and casually and not aggressively, you are going to miss a lot of key presses. So I don't like Cherry MX Black for gaming or for typing. And on the other hand, Cherry MX Red, you have the linearity of not having a tactile bump or a click, but you also have really, really light keys. I mean, it's really easy just to like scrape with the joint area, just like, you know, scraping a key with the joint area is enough to cause the key to depress and activate sometimes. So with my experience in using Cherry MX Red, I'm not a fan of it for gaming. A lot of the new Corsair gaming keyboards are Cherry MX Red, so there are a lot of gamers that like Cherry MX Red, but there is so much personal preference in deciding which Cherry MX keys you will like, and you really can't get the idea which type of keyboard you will like just from buying one of those sampler type of keyboard key switch things. You really have to do a lot of typing with the different types of keyboards to know which one you will prefer. So to get that different type of experience with different mechanical key switches, I recommend going to a Micro Center and seeing whether they have different type of keyboards with different key switches set up, so you can see which one best fits your gaming and typing preferences. So that's just a very, very quick overview of Cherry MX switches, and I can really go on for a long time talking about the differences of Cherry MX switches because I love mechanical keyboards. But no, the CM Storm Quickfire line, if it fits your budget, it is definitely a line of keyboards that I recommend. I like the dual tone coloring, and the construction of these keyboards has really held up well. The channeling of the braided USB cable, there are channels there. The feet, that wasn't fair. But yeah, the feet aren't super slippy. Well, they're about the same level of quality as the Rosewill one. But look at the laser engraving and how well it has held up. I have used this keyboard pretty much every single day for 18 months. And look at like how well the laser engraving has held up. There are some keyboards where the engraving will wear off after a month, but I mean, this is me completely bottoming out the keys for every day for 18 months. So I mean, I really find the construction of the CM Storm keyboards to be really high quality. Alright, so I installed the transparent keycaps over the WASD and the arrow keys. I wish it did come with keycap blanks so that you could put it over on one of the function keys, because I use the Alt F10 key to record in Shadowplay, so being able to see those really quickly would be beneficial. But moving on, this is what the keyboard looks like with the transparent keycaps and near complete darkness in my room. I apologize for the video quality. I record all of my videos on either my GoPro or the Galaxy S3, and the Galaxy S3 is what I'm using right now, but the Galaxy S3 doesn't do very well in low light recording. So the software is synced up, and I believe I'm on profile 1 right now, so if I click profile 2, does it change to it immediately? No, you gotta click OK first, and the loading is gonna take forever. So cycling profiles is something that you would just use function in F8, 9, 10, 11, or 12 to do. And loading on screen obviously does more than just change the profile. It saves all of your settings and macro assignments. This keyboard does have onboard memory, so if you go to a friend's house and you plug it into his computer, even without downloading the software, all of your profiles and macros and key assignments should be saved. So going for, okay, now the software has to reset. Stupid thing. Okay, there we go. Let me bring the software back into view. Okay, there's the software. Okay, we're on profile 2 right now. Let's go to profile 1, so function F8. Okay, profile 1. If you want to hit the 1 key and change it to launch a program, you can do that. So there you go, all my programs opened. The 1 key, if you want to turn it off entirely so it doesn't actuate during gameplay, you can do that. You can sync program to something. So let me see. You can sync it to any program if it's compatible. You can change it to whatever key you want. So if you want 1 to be 5, you can do that and hit OK. I'm not going to hit OK because I want 1 to be 1. And you can also assign a macro to the keys that you want. So I'm going to start recording this macro. So B14, which was by the M4 in it was by the AUG in Counter-Strike Condition 0 and Counter-Strike 1.6. So setting that to be just a 1 is something that you can do, and you can save this macro as well. Let me stop recording first, and then you can save this macro as whatever, and then save it to your keyboard. And yeah, that's pretty much it for key assignment. So can go through the lighting settings. So go to LED settings, and it's on orange right now. What if I want to make it blue? Then hit OK. Yeah, there you go. It goes to blue, and you can also have the LED cycle through all of the colors. There you go. So yeah, it's going to just go through all the colors and be breathing, so it's going to dim and get brighter as a different color as that setting. Or you can lock it to a single color. In my case, it's going to be blue and dim and brighten. I wonder whether you can adjust the speed of the breathing. Let's see, let's go back to LED, adjust the speed. I don't think you can, which is unfortunate. Okay, so I'm probably going to keep my keyboard on a dim setting on a single color. So let me go to single color as do I want it to match Razor Green? Yeah, you can have your keys match Razor Green. This is pretty close to Razor Green. If you have a Razer Death Adder or a Razer Orb Weaver, it'll match. Yeah, and you can import and export profiles that others have made for different settings. So import from wherever, then export to wherever, so that you can share awesome profiles with friends and other members of the community that have the Rosewill RGB80. So I am still very unsure about what sync program does, but I think this is pretty much it for the overview and review of the Rosewill RGB80. Again, I really love this keyboard, even though I haven't had extensive typing time or gaming time. I just know I'm gonna love it just by fooling around with the settings and doing this review. This keyboard is everything that I have ever wanted. The non-adjustable breathing is not something that I am really going to be picky about, because again, I don't want my desk to look like a light show when I'm gaming. Some of the more new Corsair gaming keyboards do have like reactive lighting, where if you just hit a key, it'll glow in waves and splash, and you can also have like flickering and like, you know, raindrops all the way down the keyboard. So you really have a lot of sophisticated lighting options with the newer Corsair gaming keyboards. But again, this is one of the more entry-level, well, I mean, it only felt an entry-level at an entry-level price because I got it on Black Friday. But even standard MSRP really can't compare to some of the more sophisticated gaming keyboards. So if you just really want a good, solid, potentially long-lasting mechanical gaming keyboard with Cherry MX Brown switches that's Tenkeyless, then I highly recommend the Rosewill RGB80 keyboard. I really couldn't find a lot of negatives besides like the lack of more advanced lighting options, but you know, you can have this keyboard do any kind of custom mapping that you want, and you know, cycling the profiles, having like, you know, different lighting options. Let's say red is your gaming profile, then you go over to 10 for more your typing profile, so all the keys are what they are. But if you want your keys to be macros, then you can go back to red. You can turn off the gaming mode function, pause break, and yeah, that gives you an entirely different set of profiles altogether. So this is a very feature-packed keyboard. It looks awesome, and I'm really excited to be using this keyboard for I mean, years. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this keyboard. Thank you very much for watching.